welcome to our micro distillery, and according to the province of Saskatchewan, that means we are allowed to produce and sell direct out of our place of manufacture up to 50,000 liters of spirit a year. That's the official definition. The real world definition though is we're tiny. We're about 3,000 square feet. The other thing that makes us a micro distillery is the size of our still. We've named our beautiful hand-hammered copper still Ginger, and we think she's gorgeous.
Well, it all really started almost 4 years ago now. I was flying off to Europe and read an article talking about the resurgence of micro distilleries in the US, which kind of got me intrigued because I'd never heard of a micro distillery, and at that point I had no idea if there was any in Canada, let alone Saskatchewan.
In Canada, there are approximately 25 registered stills this size. In the US, over 300, and will likely be over 500 in the next 12 months. And in Germany, there are over 7,000 registered stills this size.
Michael and Lacey, which is Michael's wife, and I were out, and I brought up this idea about setting up a micro distillery in Saskatchewan, and literally they both said, at the same time, we're in. And the next day, Lacey was out shopping real estate and setting up the company and everything like that. What we were very passionate about is we do like really good cocktails. But we all come from very different backgrounds. Lacey, for example, is what I'd refer to as a habitual entrepreneur. She's always into whether it's real estate or opening businesses or researching businesses. She's very much into that. Mike is actually a medical doctor, so he's a general physician, and who actually retired from practicing medicine to run the operations of the distillery. And myself, I'm in finance, so I'm in banking. We all kind of have our own kind of sort of parts in the distillery, but at the same time we all end up doing a lot of the stuff together.
That vapor, that mist that's going up, that's one of the theories on why distilled alcohols are called spirits, because it looks ghost-like.
Number one, we didn't bring, so none of us came from that brewing or making wines or anything like that.
We did work with a master distiller who actually opened the first micro distillery in the Okanagan, who came and helped us work on our recipes. So even though we do a lot of delicious products here at the distillery, what really started the whole distillery was our ambition to be a single malt whiskey distillery. And at the time it seemed like a great idea because we're one of only 4 single malt producers in Canada right now, so it automatically makes us really exclusive. The downside though of being single malt is part of the definition is everything comes from one distillery. And in Canada, whiskeys have to barrel age a minimum of 3 years. So we're still, at this point, 14 months away from being able to sell our first whiskeys. It's not like aging wine at all. We age our spirits at 62.5% alcohol by volume, so they're antiseptic. And I don't have to worry about wild molds, yeast, or bacteria ruining the spirit like a vinter does. People often ask, how do you know it's going to be good in 3 years? And the answer is, if you had a good fermentation and it tasted good coming out of your fermentation tank going into your still, and then you made your cuts correctly on the still and it tasted good coming off the still, really once you pound that bung into the bunghole of the barrel, you can relax. It's only going to get better.
Yeah, we wanted to create that sort of winery experience that if you've ever been to the Okanagan or different regions of California or France or Italy, it's that welcoming people in, showing them how you actually do something, how it's actually made. We have no secrets here. We don't trick anybody with anything that we're doing here. We tell everybody how our products are made, and then we let them taste it for themselves before they want to buy it. It's a Haskap liqueur. And Haskap is also known as a blue honeysuckle, and it is actually native to Saskatchewan.
We actually have 3 styles of whiskey aging in casks right now. The first whiskey we put away is 100% malted barley, unpeated, and I think it's going to be fantastic. But I'm the first to admit I'm very biased. We do stick with a Scotch style of making whiskey with all our whiskeys, which means the only ingredients in our whiskeys are malted grains, water, yeast, and love. Extra love in every bottle. In addition to that unpeated malted barley, we have a rye whiskey. Our recipe is 2/3 rye and 1/3 barley, and it's a bit unique even in the world of straight rye whiskeys because even that rye grain that we use has been malted. And that way we don't have to add any beta or exogenous beta gluconidase enzymes to help with the fermentation and can stick with that Scotch style of making whiskey. The third style of whiskey is a heavily peated, smoky barley whiskey. And I'll let you smell that. Those wonderful campfire and muckluck kind of smells. Yeah, those come from that malting process. You don't have to like peated whiskeys, but I do ask everybody to respect the peat.
So we have quite a few products. We go everywhere from, we actually do a Caribbean style rum, and unlike the whiskey, the rum only has to be barrel aged for a minimum of a year. Our first release of our rum will be this December. And then the other products that we have are our Lucky Bastard Vodka, which is a very premium vodka. And our goal with the vodka was to make it as smooth as we possibly could, to make it go down like water or blend into a drink like water. So we're very, very proud of our vodka. And then we do what we call a new Western dry style gin. And gin is basically the world's oldest flavored vodka, the #1 flavoring being that juniper berry. It's still like a London dry, with the exception is we really pull back that juniper berry. So it's not that punch you in the face with a pine tree style of gin that people are used to. And it's very floral, very citrus. And just we've been changing people's opinions of gin ever since we brought it out, which is fantastic. And then the other things that we do are fruit liqueurs. So we do European style fruit liqueurs. We do 5 in total. And they're a semi-sweet liqueur. They're not like the North American liqueurs that are all full of sugar. And then we also do our own line of cocktail bitters. And bitters are what we call the salt and pepper of cocktails. What they're designed to do is not make your drink bitter, but what they really do is they meld all the flavors together. A lot of classic cocktails require bitters, and pretty much every new cocktail that bartenders are coming up with require bitters as well. And nowadays, people are really getting back to that culture where you're actually mixing drinks, quality drinks, where you go into these cocktail lounges and it takes as long to get your drink as it does to make a meal, because these bartenders are shaking drinks up and they're just literally works of art for you to drink. And you're starting to see that even coming to places like Saskatoon. So we have some really high quality cocktail lounges. And we love those sort of things. And we really wanted to embrace that with our products, and that's really how we designed our products, were to fit into those very high quality drinks that people are going to be pouring with them. It's experience and it's taste, and it's mixing stuff together, and it's, even if you go back into time in the classic cocktails that were originally developed, they're just amazing. And the concoctions that are made, and I guess the differences in taste that you get when you mix one thing with another, and having actual bartenders explore that versus just pouring a vodka and mixing in a soda pop to it. There's no fun in that. We have people come in here all the time. We have an open door policy. So as long as we're not doing anything dangerous in the distillery, we stop what we're doing and give tours. And then we have a full tasting bar as well, where we do free samples to the people who are here. Pony up to the bar. We love that people are exploring we get customers in all the time, or that are emailing us saying, I made this with your drink and it was so amazing. And they're, lots of ingredients, and it's like they're having fun with it.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sasktel.com. Max Local programming is now available online at maxonline.sasktel.com.